In 1977, Renee Richards' slice serve took her to the US Open doubles final after she'd ignited a controversy over gender and elite sport.
25 players had withdrawn to protest the entry of the former Richard Raskin.
I have mixed emotions. I mean, I felt like, no, she shouldn't be able to enter, but at the same time she's in, so why not play her?
It was the precursor to the outrage that dogged a handful of elite athletes, like South African runner Caster Semenya, Olympic boxer Emaine Khalif, and weightlifter Laurel Hubbard. And now the International Olympic Committee is considering banning transgender athletes from competing in women's events. The IOC's newly elected president, Kirsty Coventry, has flagged the action.
As I just said, we're going to create a task force that's going to look at the transgender issue and the protection of the female category.
The IOC says no decision is made, although the Times of London is reporting the ban will be announced soon.
The IOC is considering, it seems, outright banning trans women from being able to compete, which is definitely a step back from what they've put out before that, which was just some testosterone requirements.
Until now, the IOC had said that transgender women with reduced testosterone levels could compete, but had left it up to individual sports to decide. The Australian Sports Commission says it's monitoring the IOC discussions and says it remains committed to fairness and inclusion for all athletes.
A lot of the national sport organisations in Australia already have their own trans inclusion guidelines as well too. A lot of them differentiating between the community level and elite level, a lot of them focusing on inclusion first policies. I would hope that Australia sticks with the course it's going.
Very few athletes will be affected by an IOC transgender ban. New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard, the only transgender woman to compete in an Olympics, retired after the Tokyo Games. And Caster Semenya, who was born female but has elevated testosterone levels, would never have been subject to a transgender ban.
It's so ridiculous.
That hasn't stopped Donald Trump from vowing to stop trans athletes coming to the LA Olympics. He's also signed an executive order blocking transgender competitors from all levels of women's sport.
Under the Trump administration, we will defend the proud tradition of female athletes, and we will not allow men to beat up, injure, and cheat our women and our girls. From now on, women's sports will be only for women.
When you have this sort of failure of leadership to perhaps talk about things in a more moderate fashion, that you whip up controversy in all kinds of areas of transgender people's or any minorities' life in the community.
The venom in this issue is familiar to Ricky Coughlin.
I'd been competing in middle distance running in Sydney competition for several years when suddenly the fact that I'm transgender became an issue, and I quickly found myself all over the media and a great big controversy.
She's worried we're about to enter an uglier era.
And where I think the IOC or the possible IOC decision might be leading us is to move back into this area of sex testing, which scoops up a lot of women who are maybe just, marginal or don't fit some norms.
She thinks transgender participation in community sport is important and much more problematic at the top.
When it comes to elite sport, the stakes are different, and because of that, participation by trans people in elite levels of sport has caused this great big controversy and this blowback upon us in all other aspects of our lives.
She also says there's a lack of evidence about whether some trans athletes have an unfair physical advantage over their competitors.
But I think that at the moment we should not have transgender people participating in elite sport simply because of those problems that I cited.